I watched my daughter sign the papers that would send me to a nursing home. Her hand didn't even shake. The lawyer slid the documents across the table. Power of attorney, conservatorship, everything. Sarah's perfectly manicured nails tapped the pen twice before she signed. Her husband, Derek, smiled at me from across the room. "Don't worry, Robert," he said. "We'll take good care of everything." Everything meant my company. The business I'd built from nothing over 40 years, worth $8.3 million. I'm 71 years old. I have stage 2 Parkinson's. My hands tremble sometimes. I forget names occasionally. But I'm not incompetent. I'm not senile. I'm just sick. But that's not what Sarah told the court. You're probably wondering how a daughter convinces a judge that her father has dementia when he doesn't. Let me tell you exactly how it happens. My name is Robert Mitchell. 6 months ago, I was the CEO of Mitchell & Associates, a commercial real estate firm I started in 1984 with $5,000 in a dream. Today, I'm sitting in room 247 of Sunset Hills Care Facility, eating pudding cups and watching The Price is Right. But I'm not broken. Not even close. Let me back up. Sarah is my only child. Her mother, Catherine, died when Sarah was 12. Breast cancer. I raised Sarah alone, paid for private schools, college at Cornell, her wedding to Derek. I gave her everything. She joined my company right out of college. I made her VP of operations at 25. Maybe that was my first mistake. She was smart, ambitious, but she wanted things faster than she earned them. Derek was worse. Investment banker type. Always talking about maximizing assets and strategic exits. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's. Early stage, manageable. My doctor said I had a decade of good life left, maybe more. I told Sarah because she was family, because I thought she deserved to know. That's when everything changed. "Dad," she said over dinner one night, "maybe it's time to think about succession planning. You're not getting younger. The company needs stability. I'm 71, not dead. I know. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "I just worry about you. We all do. That should have been my first warning." 3 months later, she came to me with paperwork. "Just some estate planning documents, Dad." Derek's lawyer drew them up. It's smart to have everything in order. I should have read them more carefully. Should have hired my own lawyer. But it was Sarah, my daughter. I trusted her. I signed a limited power of attorney. "Just for medical decisions," she said. "Just in case." That was 6 months ago. Last month, I started noticing things. Sarah scheduling board meetings without telling me. Derek in my office going through files. My assistant suddenly reporting to Sarah instead of me. "What's going on?" I asked Sarah directly. "We're just trying to help, Dad. You've been forgetting things. Missing appointments. I missed one appointment. I had the flu." Her expression changed, hardened. "Dad, we need to talk about your capacity to run the company." "My capacity? You're sick. It's getting worse. The board is concerned. The board that I built? The board that works for me?" "Worked for you," she corrected. Past tense. Then she handed me a letter, signed by 3 board members, all people I'd known for years. It recommended I step down immediately due to cognitive decline. Cognitive decline. I read those words 3 times. This is insane. I don't have cognitive decline. I have Parkinson's. They're completely different. Are they, though? She tilted her head. You shake. You forget things. Last week, you called me Catherine. Because you look like your mother. That's not dementia, that's grief. But that's not what she told the court. 2 weeks later, I was served with a petition for conservatorship. Sarah was asking a judge to declare me incompetent, to give her complete control over my finances, my medical care, my life. The evidence she submitted was devastating. A doctor's report I'd never seen claiming I had moderate dementia. Testimony from my assistant saying I'd been confused and disoriented at work. Statements from board members about my declining performance. All lies. Coordinated, calculated lies. I hired a lawyer, got my own medical evaluation. The neurologist was clear. I had Parkinson's disease with no cognitive impairment whatsoever. I was completely competent. But Sarah's lawyer was better. He painted a picture of a sick old man in denial. He talked about my trembling hands, my occasional forgetfulness, the time I supposedly got lost driving home from the office, something that never happened. The judge looked at me with pity. Mr. Mitchell, he said gently, I know this is difficult, but your daughter loves you. She wants what's best. What's best is letting me keep my own life. I'm sorry. He signed the order. Sarah was now my conservator. Within 48 hours, Derek had me committed to Sunset Hills. For my own safety, he said, you're a fall risk. I'd never fallen, not once. They moved me here on a Tuesday. Sarah didn't even help pack my things. She sent movers. They took my clothes, my books, my photos of Catherine. Left everything else. At Sunset Hills, I'm in the memory care unit, with people who actually have dementia, people who don't recognize their own children, who wander the halls at night calling for people who died decades ago. I don't belong here. But every time I try to leave, the nurses stop me. Your daughter says you're confused, Mr. Mitchell. Let's get you back to your room. Sarah visits once a week, brings Derek. They sit in the visiting room and tell me about the company. We sold the Riverside property, she said last week. Got a great price. That property was going to be our flagship development. Was, Dad? Past tense. Derek's restructuring everything. We're liquidating assets, streamlining operations. You're destroying everything I built. We're protecting your legacy. She smiled. This is what you would have wanted. But it wasn't. And we both knew it. I'd been here 3 months when I met Gerald. He's in room 251, 3 doors down. 82 years old, sharp as a knife, here because his son put him away to take his pension. They're stealing from you, Gerald said one night. We were playing chess in the common room. Your daughter, her husband, they're liquidating your company and pocketing the money. I know. So, what are you going to do about it? What can I do? I'm trapped here. Gerald smiled. You're trapped because you think like a victim. Start thinking like a fighter. Here's the next part. I still had my cell phone. They'd taken my wallet, my keys, my dignity, but they forgot the phone. I scrolled through my contacts until I found the name I needed. James Russo, an old friend. We'd done business together for 20 years. He answered on the second ring. Robert, I heard what happened. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. Be useful. I need help. Tell me what you need. I need evidence, and I need it fast.
James was a private investigator before he got into real estate. He still had connections. Within 72 hours, he'd uncovered everything. Sarah and Derek had been planning this for over a year. The fake doctor's report? Paid for. $15,000 to a physician who'd been disciplined twice for falsifying records. The board members who testified against me? Each received a $50,000 bonus after I was removed. My assistant promised a VP position and a $40,000 raise. But the worst part was what they were doing with my company. They weren't restructuring. They were gutting it, selling off properties at below-market prices to shell companies Derek controlled, transferring assets. Within 6 months, Mitchell and Associates would be bankrupt, and Derek would own everything valuable through his LLCs. The company I'd spent 40 years building would be gone, and Sarah would inherit nothing but debt while Derek walked away with millions. My own daughter was being played, and she was too greedy to see it. Here's the rest of the script continuing to the end. James sent me everything. Bank records, corporate filings, email chains between Derek and his lawyer. It was all there. I called my original lawyer, the one I should have hired from the beginning. Margaret Chen, 70 years old, ruthless, brilliant. She came to Sunset Hills the next day, walked right past the nurse's station like she owned the place, sat down in my room and read every document. When she finished, she looked at me over her glasses. This is fraud. Multiple counts. Your son-in-law is going to prison. What about Sarah? Margaret was quiet for a moment. She's complicit. The evidence shows she knew what Derek was planning. She's my daughter. She put you here, Robert. She lied to a judge. She stole your company. At what point does she stop being your daughter and start being a criminal? I didn't have an answer for that. Margaret filed an emergency motion to dissolve the conservatorship. We had evidence. We had witnesses. We had Derek's own emails discussing how to handle the old man. The hearing was set for 3 weeks later. Sarah found out about the motion the next day. She came to Sunset Hills alone this time, furious. What the hell are you doing? She stood in my doorway, shaking, taking back my life. You're sick, Dad. You need help. I have Parkinson's, not dementia. And you know that. You've always known that. Her face crumbled. The mask slipped. Dad, please. If you fight this, everything will come out. You mean Derek's fraud will come out? Silence. Did you know? I asked quietly. From the beginning, did you know what he was planning? Tears welled in her eyes. I didn't. I thought we were protecting you. By stealing from me? We weren't stealing. We were securing your assets, making sure you'd be taken care of. I don't need to be taken care of. I needed you to be my daughter.